Greetings, one and all. Hope your day went well. Hope your night's going good. If you're in other parts of the world, hope you're having a good morning, good night, good evening, or whatever's going on, whatever time it is where you're at globally. Here in Chicago, it is 1:35 in the morning, and I just wanted to make sure that I really get back into the groove of pushing for reparations for foundational Black Americans. Um, I was really pushing for reparations extremely hard, and then the election uh, came up, and I kind of got involved with that. And after the election and the inauguration, I didn't feel that people were focused on reparations as much as they should have been or would be. And I didn't want to try to push something where the focus just wasn't there. The focus just wasn't there. And now I am feeling like it is February 2026, and it's really time to keep pushing for reparations. There's a lot of people that aren't really aware of the situation with reparations. There's a lot of people that are not quite motivated to promote reparations on their social media. And I think that we got to get that really up and rolling. I think we've done a great job with lineage. We've done an excellent job letting people know of the concept of us being foundational Black Americans. I think we've done really well with that. And I really want to keep that going too. I want to really spread that. We want that to be our identity from this point on. We no longer want to be African Americans. We don't want to be Black Americans. We want to be identified as foundational Black Americans. This is for the future, for our children, our grandchildren, and things like that. We don't want to debate it. We want to spread it. So I would advise you not to get caught up debating that with people. Just spread it and just really get it moving. But at the same time, we really have to push for reparations for foundational Black Americans. We are the internet group. We are really the first generation of social media people. Now, we've had social media, we've had MySpace, we've had Facebook, and then we had Twitter. But this is the strongest social media ever been, with TikTok, Instagram, X, Facebook, YouTube, and others. So right now we are really strong when it comes to media, because the whole social media era is at an all-time high. And social media right now is giving us the same power as CBS, ABC, NBC, CNN. It's the first time we've ever had as much power as mainstream media. Because mainstream media, they'll come on CNN, they'll come on ABC, they'll come on CBS, they'll come on NBC, but we can come on all of our social media, which is it's a lot of us, it's millions of us. And so if we get on one note, we can be bigger than mainstream media. And so I just wanted to do my share tonight to make sure that, I'm still beating the drum for reparations. I didn't want that to get lost. I kind of felt like I haven't been pushing it as hard. Reparations, good to see you, Malik. Everybody over on Facebook, much love. And I feel like, we got young children, we got children in high school, we got children in college. Some of us have offspring that are young adults, and they are having children now, grandchildren. And we want to have a good set a good example for them. But just the concept that we're not, that some people don't really realize that we are due reparations for all we've been through and all that we put in and everything that was stolen from us. Like, I don't think the average person realized how much trillions of dollars have been stolen from melanated people in this country. I was just watching a video on Instagram yesterday, and it showed chemical plants poisoning black land, where these blacks had all this land. I forgot what state it was in, but they got hundreds of acres of land, and they put chemical plants right in the middle of this land that black Americans own and are polluting the land. And now the land won't, the farms won't, the food won't grow, the trees are sick, the fruit won't grow, and of course the people are going to be sick. Look at Elon Musk building that big old monstrosity right outside of Memphis. What is that going to do to us? So it just seems like it's a corporate war against us to make us sick and to make sure we don't get any economical footing. That's what it looks like to me. To keep the scales unbalanced, you know? That's what it looks like. It looks like it's a stronger effort to keep us not being able to compete economically or industrial wise, business wise. And it's really obvious because we got social media. So now we can talk about it. They could do that in the 30s. They did it in the early 1900s. They've been doing all type of stuff to us. But now we can talk about it and expose it early and began to shut it down. This is why I got some problem with all of this. I have a problem with Foundational Black Americans caring anything about ICE going after Somalians and Venezuelans. Once again, that's a distraction based on what we got going on. I mean, you really can't show me where immigrants are doing anything to benefit us as Foundational Black Americans. And see, that's something we have to address. Like, okay, what is the benefit of me standing up against ICE for you, but then you ain't standing up against nothing for us? I don't see, like the Somalians, they want to keep saying they're Africans. I don't see Africans forming any type of group to speak for foundational Black Americans. I don't see that. I don't see any type of brotherly anything from Black Africans. Nothing. I don't see any concern from Black Africans as a group for any of our plights in America. What I do see is them competing and really talking down on us and pushing the ideology that they can come here and do better than us. That's what I see from lots of Africans on social media. That's what I see. I also see Africans that's not that intelligent doing that because stirring that up could make us go against you and could shut you down economically in many, many ways and hurt other Black immigrants too. I do see Black immigrants headed for a wall. It's not looking good for Black immigrants because not only do I see them losing support from foundational Black Americans, but I see Black Americans, foundational, actually going against Black immigrants, actually shutting Black immigrants down. I see Black men in the future directing their wives to get their hair done somewhere else, to get their nails done somewhere else. I see Black men not wanting any money to be going into immigrants. I see that because it's a dead end street with nothing in return. I see that hurting Jamaican businesses, definitely hurting Korean businesses, nail salons and things like that. I see those businesses losing millions of dollars over the next couple of years and being driven out of business because nobody's going to spend money with you once they realize you're not going to spend anything with them, and nobody's going to try to benefit you if they find out you're not going to try to benefit them and you undercut them. We're getting to the point where what's in it for us? If we're going to spend a lot of money with African braid shops and stuff, what are they going to do for us in return? If they're not going to do anything for us in return, we can't spend any money for you. And we hope that ICE deports you. It's going to be cold. It's going to be cold because they're cold. They're cold. I really believe that Black Africans, I think they shot themselves in the foot. Seriously. When the hurricane hit Jamaica, that Jamaicans was talking crazy, not smart. Not wise at all. Somalians talking crazy, not wise. Nigerians disrespectful, not wise. The relationship between foundational Black Americans and other Blacks looks dire, and it looks like it's going to turn to anti-mentality from foundational Black Americans. That's what it looks like. Because, eventually people are going to want you to reciprocate You know, if they're doing, if they're spending money with you, they're gonna want to see something back. Like the African shops that do black women's hair, foundational black, we get nothing back from them but they ask us to kiss. It's time to drive them out the country. I don't spend no money with them. There's nothing worse than an enemy that looks just like you. It's one thing to have an enemy that don't look like you, a different race, a different, but to have like a, you know, a melanated person against you is about as bad as it can get. So we are going to be pushing this year for our sisters to not go to the African hair spots, and I'm gonna be working on that because the men will play hardball, and we know the women want to go anyway, but we can make it well. We're not gonna date you if you do it. We'll make it like that, and we'll start shaming each other. Hey man, why you really hanging with this sister? And she throwing our money with them people. You ain't got your woman in line. Get your woman in check. Hey, get your woman in check, black man. Hey, black man, get your woman in check. Why she taking money from the family and giving it to people who don't got no respect? I do see that. You 100% correct. They are like the new KKK. And I'm to that point too. I ain't gonna lie. I agree 100%, Goshen. I agree. It's time for all our boycott. I agree 100%. You know, I agree. I agree 100%. I think it's time to not only boycott them. I think it's time to start encouraging our people to jump into those businesses and I think the black man need to start taking those business. I think it's time for the black man to start opening up salons and hiring foundational black American women to do their hair. That's what I think. I don't think I don't think the foundational black American woman is there to do that, but I think the men could help her. I think the men could push that. I think expecting our women to do it is not as powerful. I think we should do it. I think the foundational black American man, it's time for us to get in the nail business, nails, doing toenails and fingernails and hair. And we do the hiring. That's what I think. I think it's time for the black man to go get that money. The same way we were selling drugs and all that, I think that's what the new hustle. Let's go get that money. Let's do our women's toes and nails. Let's be professional. Don't try to talk to the women when you're doing business with them. Just like when we were selling greens and everything else, we never took no sister her weed and tried to rap to her. Because if you try to rap to her and you get sexually involved with her, she's gonna want it for free. So you ain't gonna be able to get her to pay you to do her hair if you're sleeping with her. She's gonna want it for free. So I think it's time for a whole mentality for the black man to go into these businesses and take these businesses and be a professional and separate business from pleasure with the black woman. And really show these Koreans and these Africans and all these people, you playing with the wrong ones. We will shut you down like for real. We will shut you down and we will make it a whole movement. So I'm looking this spring to really to kick that off this spring. That's going to be heavy. Even to the point this spring I might be looking for a shop here in Chicago. I might open up a hair shop here in Chicago. So I'm going to be trying to contact black women in Chicago that's really good at doing hair and get work with the mayor of Chicago to try to get some deals on getting these shops, some type of assistance where we could, even to the point of buying the property through the city and have the city buy some of this property and lease it and rent it to us for some type of program where it's much cheaper for so many years. I think it's time for us to start demanding that America give us the breaks that they give immigrants, where immigrants don't have to pay no taxes for 7 years when they start businesses. Well, we never got that opportunity, and I think the government will do that. I think the Trump administration and the government would definitely allow us to open businesses with no tax for 7 years because the money they're going to get once the businesses is successful is fantastic. And I think they would be willing to do it for white Americans too. It'd be a very smart thing. Let Americans get businesses for 7 years and get businesses off the ground and grow the economy. You still gonna get the taxes off of the money they spending. So just get the money, get the tax off the money they spending and let these businesses grow to stimulate the economy. We're gonna have to spend money with ourselves. I think the foundational black American man, I think it's time in your city to start having meetings and buy these gas stations from these Arabs. Boycott the gas stations, let it go out of business and buy it. We're gonna have to play hardball, y'all. We're gonna have to play hardball. Yeah, Trump said that the immigrants are our number one threat, and he's 100% right. He's right. He's 100% right. We're going to have to play hardball, and when it comes to reparations, it's time to keep the pedal to the metal. Keep the pedal to the metal. Don't let off of pushing for reparations. We're doing an excellent job at delineating. I'm very happy for our children and grandchildren that they'll grow up and identify as foundational black Americans. They just don't know how blessed they are. And I also think that that unity for the foundational black American man will also have a great effect on the gang culture. I think that would be a good thing. Help us provide a role model for the young brothers that's out here gang banging. We want them to stop gang banging, but we don't have nothing to show them to do instead. And I think that if we, as black men, foundational black American men, start coming together on some national business and unity, now we've got mentorship for the young brothers to keep them out of jail and prison. Come out of jail, come out of prison, and jump into one of these businesses and turn your life around. Come out of high school, come out of college, and jump into one of these businesses and turn your life around. Exactly. We used to keep the money in our neighborhood, and we could do it again. We could do it again. And the one thing I can say for sure, the foundational black American woman, she's with it. She's with it. That's not going to be no problem with her. It's just us men. We gotta get on page because she's with that. She just haven't had no support from the men. She's ready. She's ready. All the foundational Black American woman needs is some mentorship about beefing with each other and build some womanly love and learn how they could deal with each other without entangling, without stepping on each other's feet. And I think once so many practice that, the next young group will emulate it. Because there used to be a time the foundational Black American woman did that. When I was young, the foundational Black American woman, the foundational Black American man had beauty shops and barber shops. And they were not in there beefing. You would go in there and there's 5 women in there doing hair, getting along just great. I've never seen an argument between hairdressers when my mother was going to the beauty shops. I never seen arguments between barbers when me and my father was going to barber shops. I never seen that, ever. There was a certain level of maturity and we got along fine. So, for me, I'm just trying to do my share. We got different brothers doing their thing, and I think that we all need to do our thing so we don't step on each other's feet. Our brother Tariq Nasheed, he's out there fighting left and right, battling tethers, pushing the concept of foundational Black American. So let him do that. The rest of us, we should be doing other things to help that instead of the exact same thing he's doing. Let him do that. He's got that. Now, the rest of us need to be, while he's pushing lineage, somebody's got to push the actual reparations. He can't do it all. That way we won't be bumping heads, worrying about what he's doing and how he's doing it. Let him alone and let us do something. You understand? You understand? I mean, that's what time it is. It's time for us to look foundational Black American man and woman. It's time for us to look at our children and our grandchildren. Now, we don't want them to have to fight this fight. So let's just knock this out the park for them. We need our neighborhoods back. We need to be able to help our homeless people. We need to be able to help our people that have all type of mental illnesses. And we need to be prepared in case we don't want to go into a Babylon mark of the beast. We might not want the mark of the beast. We might not want a cashless society. We might want to keep money in our neighborhoods. We might not want to do everything that the Babylon system wants to do. We might want to make our own independent minds up. Even when it comes to elections, we might not want to keep doing politics the way white America is doing it. It might get to the point that we want to do our politics our way. Because it seems to me that white America's politics is beginning to get silly. It's beginning to be this side against that side and no side for the American people. Which side is the American people? You look at the Republicans, you look at the Democrats, I don't see where none of it is for the people. It's all about which side gonna win elections. We can't go from election to election and all we worrying about who's gonna win the election, but we ain't worrying about nothing socially. It's just only about who gonna win the election. No upgrades in society. Just more longer and longer campaigns. We don't want to campaign 2 years for no president. Nothing's getting done but campaigning. Think about it. Nothing's got done but campaigning for Biden. Then it became Harris and Trump. All this time, what got done? Nothing. Now they want to go to the midterms and do the same thing. Nothing's going to get done. It's only going to be like just talking about who you're going to put in office. It ain't going to be about what they're going to do when they get in office. Because as soon as you put them in office, now you're going to start for the presidential election. So you're not going to put no pressure on who's in office because now you're immediately trying to get somebody else in another office. How are we going to get anything done when year after year, all we try to do is get somebody in office, get somebody in office, get somebody in office. We ain't trying to get nobody to do nothing. What are we trying to get them to do other than just get in office? Keep it real. To the point where you support the Democrats, you support the Republicans, but neither one of you got an agenda or want nothing. What is our agenda? You don't see Americans sitting around talking about schools. They talking about who's a Republican, who's a Democrat. No agendas. Just who you think is the best president, going to be the best president with no agenda. So now when they get in there is no agenda. You spent all the time arguing about who's going to get in there. Think about it. It's all about who's going to get in there. It ain't about what they're going to do when they even get in there. Unless I'm crazy. What is Trump supposed to do? He's in there. That never was established. It wasn't never established what he going to do. So he can get in there and he just make it up as he go. Oh, I'm going to invade Venezuela. Oh, I'm going to do this. I don't remember any of that during the campaign. He didn't campaign, told us he was going to take Greenland. He didn't campaign, told us he was going to invade Venezuela. That's what we're doing. We just put him in there and wait to see what they're going to do. No, that can't go like that. And we want our reparations for all these centuries, all these decades that our people have been cheated back to back to back from green line, and I can go on and on and on and on. Red lining. I can go on and on and on how they cheated us out of inventions and all type of things. If you look at reparations, every time it's time for reparations, they say they don't want the taxpayers to pay reparations. But when you look at the people that robbed us, it wasn't taxpayers, it was businesses. So you tell me why Chase Bank and all the banks that actually funded slavery, why aren't they never mentioned for paying reparations? Why do they always trying to pretend, right, that it's based on tax dollars? They never mention reparations from the cotton industry, from whatever industries that used to be the steamboat, from none of the crops, from the people that sold the slave clothes, Chase Bank, Bank of America, Wells Fargo. Every time they talk reparations, they try to act like the taxpayers got to pay it. But Wells Fargo and Chase Banking was the one got the money. Why aren't they held to the fire to pay the reparations, the companies that got rich. The taxpayers didn't get rich from reparations, the company did. So what they're doing is, every time we ask for reparations, they say, well, the taxpayers shouldn't have to pay it. We wasn't here. But Wells Fargo was here. Chase Bank was here. The U.S. railroad companies that's here is still here. The companies that made the money is still here. So why is it always that they want to say the taxpayers got to pay the reparation for what corporations got the money, and they the ones made the money? The taxpayers didn't make the money. The government didn't make the money. Private industry made the money. Why aren't they forced to pay the reparations? The cotton industry alone could pay reparations by themselves. Not to mention with Chase Banks and Wells Fargo, them three companies right there could pay it all. It wouldn't even hurt them. They wouldn't even miss it. They've got trillions. They're running the game on us. Have these companies make all this free money from reparations, and when you say, from slavery, when you ask for reparations, they'll say the taxpayers got to pay it, knowing that the taxpayers said, why I got to pay it. And the taxpayers are right. Why do taxpayers got to pay reparations when Wells Fargo and Chase Bank and U.S. Railroad and the cotton industry, the ones got the money? You tell me that. Tell me why the companies that made the money are never asked to pay reparations. They always say the taxpayer. I tell you, because that way the taxpayers say, no, I shouldn't have to pay it. That was a long time ago. The railroad, the cotton industry, Wells Fargo, Chase Bank, they can't say it was a long time ago because they still got the money. They still got the money. They're running the game on us. Have the corporations get rich off of slavery, and when it's time to pay you for the free labor, say that the taxpayers got to pay it and not the corporations. Think about it. They never say the corporations got to pay it. The ones that really robbed it, the ones that really owned the slaves, they always say the taxpayers. The cotton industry is so big, they got a logo, but nobody knows where the money's at. It's just a big logo that say cotton. They're still controlling all the cotton today, but you can't put your finger on the money. They did that just so they wouldn't have to pay reparations. But whoever owns that logo got to pay reparations and got the money, but it's been hidden. Why should the United States government pay reparations for the railroad? For all the clothing industry that made slave clothes? Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Who has the money? Who has the money? Who has the money for reparations? Who made the money? Who made the money? I'll show you who's supposed to pay the reparations. These people.
There's 13 corporations that profited from slavery. So here we go. Number 1, J.P. Morgan Chase. Between 1831 and 1865, 2 predecessor banks, Citizens Bank and Canal Bank in Louisiana, accepted approximately 13,000 enslaved individuals as collateral on loans and took ownership of approximately 1,250 of them when the plantation owners defaulted on the loans. Number 2, New York Life, an insurance company, sold insurance policies on enslaved Africans. Number 3, Wachovia. 2 historical predecessors owned enslaved Africans and accepted them as payment. Number 4, N.M. Rothschild and Sons Bank in London. Nathan Mayer Rothschild, the banking family's 19th century patriarch, made personal gains by using enslaved Africans as collateral in dealings with a slave owner. I have a list of this, so if I stumble, it's because I have a lot of chicken scratch. Number 4, Norfolk Southern, offered slaveholders $180, that's $3,379 today. This article was written in 2013. So that's $3,379 today a piece for enslaved Africans they would rent to the railroad for 1 year. The Central Georgia, another company aligned with Norfolk Southern Line today, valued slaves at $31,303. Today that would be $663,033. Did I say that right? Yes. $663,033. Hopefully that came out right. Sounds weird. Number 5, U.S. Today found that their parent company, E.W. Scripps and Gannett, had links to the slave trade. Number 6, Fleet Boston, evolved from an early financial institution. Providence Bank founded John Brown, who was a slave trader and owned ships used to transport enslaved Africans. The bank financed Brown's slave voyages and profited from them. Brown even reportedly helped charter what became Brown University. Number 7, CSX used slave labor to construct portions of U.S. rail lines under the political and legal system that was in place more than a century ago. 2 enslaved Africans were John Henry and Reuben. The record states they were to be returned clothed when they arrived to work for the company. Number 8, Canadian National Railway Company. The Mobile and Ohio, now part of Canadian National, valued their slaves lost to the war and emancipation at $199,691 on record. That amount is currently worth $2.2 million. Whew. Number 9, Brown Brothers Harriman, the oldest and largest private investment bank, founded 1818. owned hundreds of enslaved Africans, and financed the cotton economy by lending millions to Southern planters, merchants, and cotton brokers. Number 10, Brooks Brothers. High-end suit retailer. Got their start selling slave clothes to various slave traders in the 1800s. They got their start by selling slave clothes. Number 11, Barclays. British multinational banking and financial services company headquartered in London has now conceded that companies brought over the years may have been involved in the slave trade. Number 12, Lehman Brothers. This business empire started in the slave trade. Quote from Joe Pelizotto. This is a sad part of our history or our heritage. We're deeply apologetic. It was a terrible thing. There's no one sitting in the United States in the year 2005, hopefully, who would ever in a million years defend the practice. 13, Aetna. Aetna? Aetna. U.S. largest health insurer, apologized for selling policies in the 1850s that reimbursed slave owners for financial losses when the enslaved Africans they owned died. Aetna has long acknowledged that for several years shortly after its founding in 1853, that the company may have insured the lives of slaves. A few other a few other corporations, companies that profited from slavery: Princeton, Harvard Law School, Tiffany & Co., Bank of America, Yale University, and Wells Fargo.
So you telling me Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Aetna, and all them don't have to pay the reparations when they the ones made the money, and they want to always say uh, that the taxpayers gotta pay it? That way, the taxpayers could say, "Why should we pay it?" And then they don't. Then the real ones that made money don't have to pay. They never go at the companies that got rich off of slavery to pay. You ain't noticed that? They try to say the government got to pay it. Look at all those companies she named. Why don't they have to put the money together and pay the reparations? They the ones made the money from the free labor. And that's just some of them. Because they're not really even revealing all the crops that the slaves worked on. So the money is there. They're just running a game by saying the taxpayers, knowing the taxpayers aren't going to pay it because the taxpayers shouldn't have to pay it. Whoever made that money and been investing that money have to pay it. And Wells Fargo and Bank of America is still open, and they got the money. They got it. They got rich, and Aetna and the railroad companies, all those companies got rich, became multi-trillionaires from that free labor. Why aren't they asked to pay? Let that sink in. We're going to keep pushing reparations. We're going to get it bigger, to push bigger, 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 bigger. We're going to keep the pedal to the metal. And we're not going to take no for an answer. Okay? So that's just a little stimulant for you all. I want you all to stay on top of this, and we have to push for reparations. We can't keep kicking this can down the road. We can't do that, y'all. We can't. And if you want to study up on it, read some of these books right here. All right? Peace and victory.